So this platform, what you see here is Bulletproof Patents. And in Bulletproof Patents, I'm just going to show you three things that we have prepared for you. Okay. First is what we call just in case. The just in case, we will be analyzing the cases that come from the Supreme Court and the High Court. And I must tell you, there is quite a lot. In fact, when the IPAB was shut down, I wrote an article in Hindu about it was an obituary for the IPAB. It was a very critical thing on how IPAB, that I ended the article by saying IPAB actually lost upon the chance to develop patent jurisprudence in India. They really lost it. They really lost it. And I used to appear in multiple cases. You might have heard about the Yahoo case, which on business patents. We lost the case, but I argued that case. So you know that we were actually doing the work and we were not happy with what was coming out of it. Today, after the abolition of the IPAB, there are multiple high courts which are just coming up with excellent judgments, and I can take you some of the judgment, which will all be binding on the patent office. So this is where we are today. Last year, by some count, we had more than 400 patent cases going to the high courts, out of which many of them were just for directions, but a good chunk of them were remand cases. So people who were not happy with the decision of the patent controller, they went, and in most cases, the High Court just remanded it back for a fresh hearing. And to avoid predetermination, they would normally ask another set of another controller to handle the case. Now, this has been the case. And some of the controller's orders, and I strongly feel that the controllers really need training on how to write robust orders. So this part is on all the new cases that are coming from the Supreme Court, very rarely, but from the High Court, very often. Almost a week, you have 2-3 cases coming up. That's the rate at which we can see cases. Okay, so those cases will be analyzed, and we will try to. Some of them have very strong legal reasoning. We'll try to bring out practical aspects. What is it that is important for a person who's prosecuting a patent, largely patent agents? We'll take those practical insights and we will see how those can be applied to patent agents. And in some cases, if it's an infringement case or a case involving a granted patent, then we will be looking at some tips for the litigators as well. So this is one thing. So this is going to be a timely thing. How timely? Depending on the cases that are coming. So we have prepared some cases. Now we'll start posting it on a weekly basis. The second thing that we have is something called objection overrule. This is analyzing from the important cases, analyzing how the applicant dealt with the FER. And you can, so in a classic case, you will see an FER. What are the objections raised by the controller in an FER? And you will see what were the response given by the applicant. Now, in many cases, it doesn't settle there. The controller may reject the application, and then the applicant may go to the High Court. Now the applicant has to go to the High Court because there's no IPAB, and it gets a remand order. So they are all the cases that go to the High Court. We can assume that the patent is valuable, at least for the applicant. Otherwise, why should they spend money to go to the High Court? Now we look at the valuable patents and we see what is the pattern here. What are the things that went wrong? What are the things that got corrected? And what are the lessons that we can learn from the successful cases? Now, this is again going to be a timely offering, and you will actually see the FER, you will see the objections, you will see how the applicant maneuvered it, and we will also see whether that was successful. Because if the applicant successfully maneuvered it, it would not have gone to the High Court. So those are the set of cases they're looking at. And finally, we have something called principles of practice. Now, principles of practice, if you look at the patent law itself, it is largely based on some foundational doctrines and some newly evolving doctrines. Okay. Now I'm just going to open up. So we are going to, here what we are going to do is, we are going to not only just look at the case, we are going to look at the provisions that are connected. Let me just show you that we have had quite a lot of cases, so that you just get the idea of how many cases we are looking at. Now, if you can see my screen here, now this is 2025. You can see the number of cases that we have in 2025. I have saved 105 items. So this is my software where I store these things. Now, each case, and there is much more than 105, because we don't take all the interim cases. We don't take the cases in which they just pass directions. They just say list it after 4. That's not a case.